So I have a very interesting video for everybody to watch today. There is new advancements in technology that can show us a clearer picture of Patty with this video. Now, if you guys don't know, the other night there was a show called The Proof Is Out There, and they showed this new technology where they show these clearer images of this video. Also, I have a couple audio interviews, one from Bob Gimlin and the other one from Roger Patterson himself. The Roger Patterson interview is courtesy of Todd Prescott at the Sasquatch Archives channel. If you guys have not checked out his channel, make sure you do. He has a plethora of old interviews and videos on the whole Bigfoot Sasquatch topic. Also, courtesy of Sasquatch investigator Bill MUNNS, I have the Patty trackway that was also recorded in 1967 that shows the tracks that Patty left. And then at the end, I'm going to show you why I feel that this is 100% a Bigfoot. I'm going to use the new footage, and you guys are going to see for yourself why this creature, in my opinion, is 100% real. But before I do any of that, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys these locations. In case no one knows where this location is, I'm going to go ahead and show it to you with Google Earth so you guys can follow along as we talk about this story, and they give you their version of what happened in their interviews. So let's do it. Okay, you guys can see where this is. This is right here in California. Now this area is pretty wild, as you guys can see, even to this day. Let's zoom on in here. You guys can see all this forest around there. It's still really wild. As you guys can check it out, look, there's really nothing around there, as you guys can see, right? Nothing that I see. I don't see any cities or any towns or really anything. Maybe there's a little logging there to the west. Not very much though, maybe a little bit to the north. And you guys can see now to the west over there, there's something. But in this valley, on these mountain ranges, there's really nothing there, guys. I mean, even to this day. So imagine back in 1967 how wild this place was, right? Bob Gimlin says it was 36 miles on horseback to get back into this location. And I'm going to zoom in even further for you guys. Now there are roads here that that the logging companies have put in, but still, to this day, there's really nothing here. And this is the creek, and this is the exact location where this happened. Right there is where it is, right on Bluff Creek. And as you guys can see, all the trees and all the forest still around this area. We'll zoom on in there a little bit further for you guys. And I can get it all the way down in there. And you guys can see it's a wild place. I would love to go there someday, but I live all the way in Ohio, so it's kind of hard for me to get there. Maybe next year I'll plan a trip or something out that way, and I can make a Bigfoot documentary. So this is the area, guys. I'm going to zoom back on out so you guys can see once again how wild this place is. Alright, let's get to it. Let's get to these interviews. And once again, these interviews are from Bob Gimlin and Roger Patterson, giving their accounts and their versions of what happened that fateful day that they ran into Patty. And at the end, I'm going to use that new technology on the footage to show you guys exactly why I believe that this creature that they filmed is 100% real. 100% real in my opinion. Now you guys make up your own minds on what you guys believe. And like I always say, leave me some comments. Let me know what you guys think about this creature. Is it real that you see in this footage that I'm going to show you? Or do you think it could be a hoax? So let's get to it.
I'm Bob Gimlin. Was there? Yes. I was backing Roger Patterson up all the time. We were called down there with 3 different footprints, 3 different size of footprints around a piece of equipment. And by the time we got, this was Labor Day weekend, and by the time I got down there, or we got down there, there'd been so many humans that come up and walked around and disturbed the tracks, plus it rained also. And so there was no real good footprints for casts or anything. So that's why we kind of stayed and just started riding in big circles. Well, not really circles, just wherever we could go, you know. And we'd usually cover about 25 miles a day, riding through the mountains and different locations. That's why we had decided to travel further, way on back, a lot further back, and look for more evidence, because we hadn't found anything in a month. We'd been riding for a month and hadn't located anything. Well, he had the camera up, working with it. I was riding back of him. It was a Saturday, sunshiny, bright fall day, October 20th, to be exact. And it was just a warm, sunshiny day, and we were just riding up alongside the creek, on the east side of the creek. And about 4 miles from where we were camped, Roger was just riding. Roger was riding in front of me. We were basically going out to camp about 40 miles further out than we'd been riding. And so we were going to go on out, so we had a pack horse with us, a small pack horse. And when we were just riding up the creek bed, and Roger was taking pictures of the beautiful colors, of the fall colors of the trees and the brush and all that. And all at once, when we come around a bend in the creek, boom, there's one standing across the creek. So things started happening dramatically fast. And of course, Roger's horse just went berserk. Well, mine did too, but I was able to stay on him. I was a pretty good rider, and I stayed on my horse, and Roger finally, he didn't get actually dumped off his horse, but he got a little help getting off, and he grabbed the saddle bag cover, one flap that he had it on there, and unflapped it and got the camera out and started running across the creek, taking the picture. And he stumbled. It had a kind of a bank on the far side, and so Roger had had the camera up to his eye, of course, and he kind of stumbled and fell down on his elbows. And he wasn't really sure if he got sand or whatever in the camera, because this is all happening really, really fast. It was like, oh, God, there is one. And she's walking away, and I'm trying to hold my horse and stay on my horse until I did ride across the creek and stepped down off the horse, and she turned and made a head turn towards when I rode across the creek, and she was about 200 feet from me at that time, and just made that one turn and never even slowed down. I said, I know they exist. And I say, you know, there's no question. They say, well, is there a little bit of question? Is there a question whether you could have been fooled? I said, no way. No way. Well, we were 36 miles back in the woods. I'll never forget that few seconds that I did get to see her. It'll be with me the rest of my life.
We were about, I guess 3 miles, something like that, from our main camp. We had rounded a bend in the trail. The creek was coming down this canyon, and the wind was blowing down the canyon. So that I think this is probably the reason that we come upon this thing without us knowing we were coming. The first thing I knew, my horse stopped, and I caught something out of the corner of my eye, and then my horse kind of jumped backwards and reared with me. And as he did so, I pulled on him, and I pulled a little bit too hard, and we both went to the ground. I was able to get up and get a hold of him and get in my saddlebags and get my camera out, and I turned him loose, yelled to Bob to cover me. At the time that I had got up and went around the horse and held his held the reins, I looked over to my left and seen the thing, and then it was about 120 feet, fairly close. It was standing by the edge of the creek. I felt that it was kneeling when we first seen it, and it didn't appear to be as big as what it did because I just caught a glimpse. It could have even been a bear, the first glimpse that I got. It turned and walked up the bank and then turned around again and looked directly at us before it got up to the top of this bank. We were able to get, at that point, I wasn't actually looking through the camera. I had just was glancing at it and getting it out of my bag. At that point, I yelled to Bob to cover me, which he turned loose the pack horse, and I turned loose my horse because he was fighting me kind of, and Bob had a 30-06, and his horse wasn't giving him much trouble, and so then I started taking pictures of the thing because it didn't appear to be aggressive. It was going the other direction, or at a pretty much of a direction away from us, and I ran some of the way and had to run down through the creek up on the other side of the bank, and that's when I got the best pictures of the thing. We didn't immediately follow it. Bob started, I yelled at him to come back. I was out of film. There had been these other 3 sets of tracks found, and this appeared to be a female. I felt that possibly a big male could be right in the vicinity, and that I was standing there without any weapon at all, and this didn't set too good with me. So he come back. We went at that point and got my horse. He'd run down the trail there about half a mile or so, and come back up, load the camera up, went after the thing. The creek, it followed the creek quite a little ways, and at that particular place up there, there's quite a iron deposit in this creek. Wherever you step, it breaks this, and actually, leaves practically a print right down the bottom of the creek. And it went up one of these side tributaries, and the same thing in those. So we followed it for, like I say, 3 miles. The last half a mile on foot, it got so dense that we felt that if the thing was going to ambush us, circle back around or something, if it wanted to, it could. So we come back out and decided to get out in the valley, see if we get dogs, and come up for the next day. This we done, and the next morning it began to rain, and it rained in there for quite a little while and washed things out real badly. I felt we was lucky to get what we got at that particular time. I suppose that in the Northwest, myself and DeHenden and Green know as much about these things as anybody, but yet we know very little. We haven't got one, and even if we had one, we'd still know very little about their wild habits.
Okay, now that you have seen the original Patterson clip and you have heard from both of the gentlemen themselves, I'm going to go ahead and give you the enhanced clips from the show The Proof Is Out There. Also, I'm going to give you a small little clip from a special effects guy that played a lot of animal characters from 1939 on for several decades, and he's going to give you his opinion on the Patterson film. And I'm also going to show you a little clip from one of the Planet of the Apes movies to make a comparison of the Hollywood type costumes in this era compared to the Patterson film. And there is no comparison, guys. Once you guys see this, wait till you see the comparison. There is none. So anybody that's still out there thinking this is a hoax, I don't know what else is going to take to convince you that it's not. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this one. Alright, let's start with the comparison between Planet of the Apes and Patty, shall we? Pay attention. Notice the flap on the costume? No flap. Next, notice how loose the costume fits? On Patty, look how tight it is. And finally, look how there's no muscle definition, and with Patty, you see the muscle definition in the legs. There is no comparison between the two. This costume from the 1960s is the best Hollywood had to offer, and it's laughable.
Active in the motion picture industry since 1939 as an impersonator of animals of the ape family, Mr. Prohaska was convinced that Roger Patterson had filmed a living, wild creature.
The movement is the only thing what throwed me a little bad, because he moved a little bit more like a man than an animal. Because you could see all the muscles on the body and the whole movement. It didn't move like a costume at all. And the size of it was enormous big size, so I don't know if they find a big man like that.
Mr. Prohaska, you mentioned that the creature did not move, as if it were a costume. Do you think it would be possible to create such a costume?
That would be a difficult... I don't think so. Because that costume, if this would be a costume, that would have taken such a long time to put the hair. You should put the hair by glue on. That would take about 10 hours, the whole makeup job. And it looked to me very, very real. I'm doing now this since 1939, and if that was a costume, that was the best I have ever seen.
Alright, so let me get this straight. Two broke cowboys are supposed to be able to make up a costume good enough to fool the special effects Hollywood crowd. Do you understand what I'm saying there? There is no way that's possible. Let's break it down. Look how Patty's toes spread right here. Look at the toes on the bottom of her feet. You can see the toe stems. Look at that. Here's the toe stems. There's the track. Now check this out. Look at the muscles. Do you see that? Look at the muscles contracting right there when she's walking. If this is a loose-fitting outfit, you think that that's going to show up? I mean, you've seen the outfit from the Planet of the Apes. Now check this out. Look, it's a butt crack. Yes, a butt crack. Do you think they're going to make a butt crack in a costume? Oh, and one more thing. Look at the breast. Look at the breast moving. Do you think two cowboys are going to come up breast? Are you out of your mind? And the last thing I want to show you is watch the shockwave go through her right leg right there. Watch again. There. You see that? There. The shockwave that goes through her leg when she's turning and puts her weight on her right leg, you cannot fake that with a costume. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at a real creature right here. Look at once more time. Bam. You see the shockwave go through her? You're not going to see that in a loose-fitting outfit. I'm sorry, skeptics, but you're not. Alright, so there you go. The famous Patterson Bigfoot film breakdown by WILLSTAR. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I gave you guys my opinion on what I think about it, but I want you guys to make up your own minds. I'm not here to tell you what to think or what to believe. You guys leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about this breakdown. Did I do a good job? Did I persuade anybody? Are there still some doubters out there? Let me know. Leave me some comments. And hit that like button if you guys like the video. And if you're new to the channel, think about subscribing. No, don't think about subscribing. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. I appreciate that. We're growing this channel and we're going to make it the biggest and the best Bigfoot channel on YouTube. Always remember, guys, when there is a WILLSTAR, there is definitely a way. And we will talk to you guys later. Take care.